The phantom debris cautions. NASCAR fans have long whispered about invisible debris cautions thrown to spice up races. The theory goes that officials wave the yellow flag for an imaginary debris just to bunch up the field for a dramatic finish. Even drivers like Tony Stewart have accused NASCAR of meddling with results by tossing bogus debris cautions, comparing it to staged wrestling. These suspicions peaked in the 2000s and 2010, like a late yellow in the 2015 finale that spoiled Kyle Larson's big lead. NASCAR denies cooking up cautions, and no hard proof has ever surfaced, but the well-timed yellow flags keep conspiracy talk alive. Debunk status, unproven, with NASCAR insisting all cautions are legit. Richard Petty's 200th win, a presidential coincidence. July 4, 1984. NASCAR legend Richard Petty claimed his 200th Cup win in front of an extra special guest, President Ronald Reagan. In the Firecracker 400 at Daytona, Petty dueled Cale Yarborough until a crash with 2 laps to go froze the race to a final sprint under caution. Petty edged ahead at the yellow to notch win number 200, then famously celebrated with Reagan in the VIP box. It felt almost too perfect, leading some to speculate NASCAR engineered a storybook ending because the president was watching. Conspiracy theorists note Petty immediately met Reagan before victory lane and never won another race after that day. Most experts chalk it up to Petty's talent and timing rather than a fix, but it remains one patriotic conspiracy theory. Debunk status. Unproven and doubted. Petty was still winning around that time, and a caution and close finish can happen naturally. Dale Jr.'s storybook. Daytona win, July 7, 2001. Mere months after Dale Earnhardt's tragic death in the Daytona 500, his son Dale Earnhardt Jr. returned to Daytona and dominated the Pepsi 400. Jr. led 116 of 160 laps with a car that seemed unstoppable. He blazed from 6th to 1st in a single restart and took an emotional victory. Teammate Michael Waltrip, who won the 500 when Sr. died, finished second. It was a Hollywood ending, so of course rumors swirled that NASCAR gave Jr. a special horsepower boost or that other drivers agreed to lay back. Even an Orlando Sentinel columnist quipped that Jr.'s car might have had an extra centimeter in the carburetor. NASCAR officials and drivers like Tony Stewart, who was black flagged for trying to snatch the lead, late refuted the fix talk. Jr. himself was hurt by the insinuations. In hindsight, his team, DEI, simply had superb restrictor plate cars then. But the almost scripted sentiment of that win keeps this conspiracy alive in fan lore. Debunk status. No evidence of a fix. Widely considered a genuine win fueled by emotion and a fast car. Jeff Gordon's traction control burnouts. 2003 season. 4-time champion. Jeff Gordon was so dominant in the early 2000s that some rivals and fans muttered about illegal traction control gadgets in his car. The smoking gun? Or rather the lack of smoke. During a 2003 Atlanta win, Gordon's burnout donuts didn't billow the usual tire smoke, leading folks to suspect some electronic aid was keeping his tires hooked up. On track, his Chevy looked glued to the asphalt, running high without slipping, which seemed almost too good. Conspiracy theorists pointed to how Gordon's car wouldn't spin its tires during victory burnouts as proof of hidden traction control. NASCAR tore that number 24 apart in inspections and found nothing. No device, no cheating discovered. It turns out Jeff was just that good, and his team's setup was top-notch. The lack of smoke was likely due to Gordon's throttle control and a bit of over-analyzing by skeptics. Debunk status. Debunked. Thorough inspections cleared Gordon, attributing his edge to skill and setup. Montoya's mysterious Brickyard penalty. 2009 Brickyard 400. Juan Pablo Montoya, a former Indy 500 champ, was cruising toward a dominant win at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, leading 116 of 160 laps. Then, with 26 laps to go, disaster. NASCAR nailed Montoya with a pit road speeding penalty during his final stop. Montoya was livid, swearing on his wife and kids over the radio that he hadn't sped a bit. The pass-through penalty wiped out his huge lead and handed Jimmy Johnson the victory. Many fans found it fishy. Was NASCAR using a technicality to snatch away a win from the Colombian driver in favor of a series superstar? Montoya certainly felt wronged. "They screwed us because I was not speeding," he raged. And conspiracy talk grew loud. NASCAR, however, stood by the timing loops and data, saying Montoya sped by a tiny margin, and no evidence suggested any foul play in timing. Montoya's misfortune remains a what if, likely just a costly mistake or equipment quirk, but to this day, some fans raise an eyebrow at how that win slipped away. Debunk status. Unproven. Most believe it was an unfortunate penalty, with NASCAR's data backing it up. Daytona 500 pole position coincidences. 2013 to 2018. There's nothing like a feel-good headline to kick off NASCAR's season, and from 2013 onward, Daytona 500 qualifying produced suspiciously perfect storylines. It started when rookie Danica Patrick shockingly won the 2013 Daytona 500 pole, the first woman ever to do so, generating massive buzz. In 2014, Austin Dillon, driving the resurrected number 3 of Dale Sr., took the pole. 2015, it was Jeff Gordon in his final full-time season grabbing the top spot. 2016 brought young Chase Elliott, Bill Elliott's son and Gordon's replacement, to the pole, and he did it again in 2017. The streak had fans tongue-in-cheek asking, "Do you believe in coincidences?" Some suspected NASCAR was subtly tweaking the restrictor plates, which officials alone install, to give popular drivers a slight edge in qualifying. NASCAR officials deny any rigging, of course, and there's no proof. It could just be Hendrick Motorsport's superior engines, considering they powered most of those poles. The pole position conspiracy faded after 2018, but those few years of two perfect outcomes still have fans donning tinfoil hats each February. Debunk status. Unproven. Likely explained by top teams' plate track prowess and a bit of luck. Spingate. The Richmond race fix scandal. September 2013. Richmond. This one isn't just a theory, it really happened, and it rocked NASCAR's playoffs. In the final race before the Chase playoffs, Michael Waltrip Racing driver Clint Bowyer mysteriously spun out with 7 laps left while teammate Martin Truex Jr. was fighting to make the chase. Bowyer's spin brought out a caution that cost Ryan Newman a win and a chase spot, while aiding Truex. On top of that, MWR's third driver was ordered to pit for no reason, also to help Truex. NASCAR officials smelled a rat and found radio chatter suggesting the spin was deliberate. "Is your arm itchy? Itch it," Bowyer's crew hinted moments before he looped it. The fallout was massive. NASCAR fined MWR a record $300,000 and kicked Truex out of the 2013 chase, reinstating Newman and adding Jeff Gordon as an extra playoff driver due to other shenanigans discovered. Bowyer never admitted intent, but the evidence was damning. Spingate proved that race-fixing conspiracies aren't always just fantasy. Teams really conspired, got caught, and paid dearly. The scandal destroyed MWR's reputation and is a big reason fans eye any late-race coincidence with skepticism now. Debunk status. Confirmed. This was an actual conspiracy that NASCAR uncovered and penalized. Harvick's Talladega Trick, October 2015, Talladega. In a do-or-die playoff elimination race, Kevin Harvick found himself in a desperate spot. His engine was failing on a late restart, and if the race stayed green, he'd fall out of contention and be eliminated. On the final restart, Harvick's car suddenly veered into the pack, tagging Trevor Bayne and triggering a huge wreck. The crash ended the race under caution, freezing the field and conveniently keeping Harvick in the playoff by a razor-thin margin. Immediately, furious competitors like Matt Kenseth and Denny Hamlin accused Harvick of wrecking the field on purpose to manipulate the outcome. Fans dubbed it Harvick's Talladega scheme, essentially alleging he played chicken with the field to save his season. NASCAR reviewed the incident but ultimately issued no penalties, saying they couldn't prove intent. Harvick insisted his crippled car just clipped Bayne accidentally while he was trying to get out of the way. This conspiracy theory remains a hot debate. Drivers to this day believe Harvick knew exactly what he was doing, even if it went unpunished. Debunk status. Unresolved. Many believe he did it intentionally, but it was never officially proven or penalized. Hamlin let Smoke have one. June 2016, Sonoma. Tony "Smoke" Stewart was a NASCAR icon in his final season, winless for 3 years until a fairy tale ending at the road course in Sonoma. Stewart was leading on the last lap when Denny Hamlin dive-bombed past him, only to overshoot the final turn and slide wide into the wall, allowing Stewart to sneak back past for the win. It looked like Hamlin simply messed up under pressure, but some fans raised an eyebrow, wondering if Denny gifted his friend Tony a parting present. The theory gained traction because Hamlin maintained the lead confidently until that uncharacteristic error in the very last corner. Hamlin laughed it off and denied letting Stewart win, calling it a mistake in braking. And indeed, Hamlin hates losing as much as anyone. Stewart's reaction was pure joy, and perhaps surprise, at the win. Most believe Hamlin simply wheel-hopped into the corner and blew it, rather than staging a finish. But for conspiracy lovers, the dramatic last-turn slip that handed a retiring legend his final victory was suspiciously poetic. Debunk status. Unproven. Likely a genuine racing mistake, though a conveniently heartwarming outcome. Bubba Wallace's rain-shortened victory. October 2021, Talladega. Bubba Wallace earned his first Cup win in a rain-shortened superspeedway race, becoming the first black driver to win a Cup race since 1963. It was a historic, feel-good moment, but not everyone was convinced it was purely chance. After Wallace took the lead, rain arrived, and NASCAR swiftly called the race official once past halfway. Some disgruntled fans cried foul, claiming NASCAR was quick on the trigger to end the race because Wallace was in front and a popular, history-making headline was in reach. They pointed out that NASCAR sometimes waits hours for rain to clear, but in this case, the decision came relatively fast. This fueled talk that the sanctioning body wanted to cement Bubba's win for the narrative. NASCAR strongly refuted this, noting that the downpour was persistent and the track had no daylight to dry. Indeed, safety comes first, and many races have ended early when weather wouldn't relent. Wallace's team and most observers maintain he earned that win fair and square by being up front at the right time. The conspiracy remains mostly chatter among skeptics, but it reflects the wider distrust some have in officials' timing of red flags. Debunk status: unproven. The rain was real, and there's no evidence NASCAR manipulated the weather or the call.